Where we're standing now in this gallery, which is called The Birth of the Computer, is my very favorite part of the entire exhibition, and it happens really early on, because this is the birth of computing as we know it today. The icon of this area is the machine you see behind me. This is the largest loan that the Smithsonian has ever made of this particular machine, which is called the ENIAC. The ENIAC was built at the University of Pennsylvania in 1945 by the Army. The Army, again, this is a calculator problem. This is why we start with calculators in the beginning. The Army had to calculate firing tables for artillery, and there were way more artillery positions deployed by the Army at the end of World War II than human beings could possibly calculate the trajectories. So the Army dreamed of a computer that could very quickly calculate all these trajectories, convert them into printed tables that could then be sent out into the field. Two young engineers named Prescott and John Hollar designed this along with an Army officer named Herman Goldstein. They built it at the Moore School at the University of Pennsylvania. It was entirely programmed by women. There were 12 women who were recruited from all over the country, largely math majors from small colleges. They were brought to Pennsylvania, they signed top secret clearances, and they started to work on a machine that had no documentation, nothing was written down, no one knew how it worked. There was absolutely no idea about software of any kind. There had only been one other program ever attempted like this in Manchester. Sorry? I know, exactly. Sound familiar? And it was literally a program that, computer rather, that you stood inside of. So it was a computer that filled a giant room. This is a scale model with humans drawn to scale. That's sort of a shadow box that shows you what the ENIAC installation looked like. It had 18,000 vacuum tubes. It ran really for a maximum of about 75 minutes before it failed. And then they'd spend 3 or 4 hours looking for the tube that burned out so they could replace it and get started again. And yet it's said that in the first 24 hours that the ENIAC ran, it did more calculations than had been done by all humans in all of human history up to that point. It was later modified to become a stored program computer. This computer could not store a program, but it was modified to be able to do that. And then the team that built the ENIAC split, and it was a very acrimonious split. And even today, it's like the Hatfields and the McCoys. People in history, especially relatives, aligned themselves with either Eckert and Mauchly, who went commercial and built that machine over there called the UNIVAC, which was the best-selling computer in the world in the 1950s. Or they became scientists. They went back largely to Princeton to work with John von Neumann, building the algorithms and the detonating sequences for the hydrogen bomb. So it was commercial versus scientists. It was very acrimonious, and the whole split eventually led to the invalidation of all the patents that Eckert and Mauchly held on electronic computing. It's a story I won't go into, but it's told over there. And that's why there are no patents on electronic computing. The machine, you can sort of see through that doorway, which we won't go into because Gordon's in there. That's the machine that John von Neumann designed after he left this project and went back to Princeton. It's called the Johnniac. The machine he built was at Princeton. That's actually a second machine that was built for the Rand Corporation, and it was in Los Angeles. And that's the machine that von Neumann used to design the hydrogen bomb for the U.S. government. Von Neumann essentially wrote in his memoir, "I know I've made a deal with the devil. I wanted the most powerful computer in the world. The Pentagon wanted the most powerful bomb. I said, you give me my computer, I'll give you my bomb. And you give me my computer, I'll give you your bomb." And that's exactly what happened.